Hello there. I remember I had this weird experience in college where I was in class, and at the time I'd been working on myself to become more confident. I'd been pushing myself to be in more and more social situations. I'd been forcing myself to speak in front of groups of people. Like, say I was hanging out with kind of a room full of friends, I would force myself to say the joke that was on my mind, or respond, just speak more. And I remember one day when I was in class in college, I said something to this girl in class, and there were other people around, and I said something. I was like, "Hey," and everybody looked at me, and I reacted to it, and I was like, "What? Why did everybody just look at me?" And then the girl was like, "'Cause you commanded our attention." And I remember looking back on that, I remember feeling almost like I wasn't worthy of attention. For some reason, I don't know what it is, some kind of childhood trauma, micro trauma, or some kind of mindset shift that I had when I was a child kind of made it so that I was not comfortable using my voice and being heard. So I wasn't used to it when this happened in my college class, when everybody looked at me and they were like, "Attention, yes, we're giving you attention, and we're valuing what you have to say now." I wasn't used to that, so part of my brain was just freaking out, why people are actually listening to me. And I think a lot of times when you have social anxiety, or if you're somebody who's shy or whatever, if you're watching this video, if you clicked on this video, a lot of times people, we hold ourselves back by almost shutting ourselves down before other people do. And maybe that was because when we were a kid, people shut us down, authority figures or whatever, parents, teachers, peers, they shut us down. They said, "Sit down, shut up, don't talk." Maybe that's why we do it to ourselves, but those thoughts that have gotten into our heads that we repeat to ourselves, when we start to talk and then we're like, no, what I have to say isn't worthy. I think step one is being able to realize it. And step two is forcing yourself to just talk anyways and listen to the part of you that actually wants to speak. Because a lot of people, well, actually I can only speak for my own experience. I used to not value my own voice. I used to not like my own voice. I used to think I sounded stupid. I used to think when I talked or when I sang, I literally assumed people were going to make fun of me for my voice. I didn't like hearing my voice on tape. I didn't like hearing my voice in general. When I talked a lot, I just didn't like hearing it. And I think that's a huge issue with, why that's one of the reasons why my social anxiety stayed, and why I listened to it, and why it controlled me, because I was listening to it. I was listening to those thoughts in my head that were telling me that my voice was stupid and not to the one that actually wants to talk, which is me, my soul, if you will. So I guess you could argue that I've actually done some vocal exercises, not a lot. I've never taken a vocal class or anything, but I do vocal warm-ups. You can look up some pretty good vocal warm-ups on YouTube that will make your voice more resonant, more confident sounding, and I just think they're kind of fun to do vocal warm-ups. It makes you feel powerful when you can use your voice. But I think a huge benefit when you're dealing with anxiety and you don't want to be heard and that kind of thing is learning to love your own voice. Just actually do an exercise right now. I'm going to end this video in a second, but before I do, I want you, if you're watching this, to do an exercise where you actually think and visualize. Ask yourself, what would it feel like if I actually liked my voice? What would it feel like if I actually liked my voice? And then talk, holding that feeling. One of my friends, who's a girl who I kind of grew up with, or sort of grew up with. I think we were friends in 8th grade and up. But she actually, I remember her saying one day, just nonchalantly, but it kind of stuck with me. She just said, "Troy, I love hearing my own voice. And she's got like really high self-esteem, and I was like, huh, okay, maybe that's a mindset that I can take on too. I love hearing my own voice. If she loves hearing her own voice, she's just like me, she grew up with me, why can't I love my own voice too? You know, it doesn't matter what other people say about you. A lot of people care about the opinions of people that they don't even care about. Like, I'm sure if you're watching this, if you're a human being on this planet, you probably have a handful of people who you really, really, really care about. Maybe people in your family, your grandparents, your best friends. But other people in your life, why are you letting their opinions like control your life? Why do you care about their opinions? Why do you care about them? That's not meant to sound like selfish. Like, obviously, most people, if I saw them in danger or in trouble, I would help them. But at the same time, I'm focused on my life and what I'm doing. And I think that's how everybody should live. They should come from a place of independence. That's called growing up, really, is learning to stand on your own feet and learning to share your own personality, because you're not doing anybody any favors by holding back. Because sooner or later, they're going to find out what your true intentions are. Like, say you start a relationship with somebody, you start a friendship with somebody, and then you're holding back. You're like people pleasing. You're holding back your voice in order to not offend them. Well, then what if someday they do something that really, really offends you, and then you're like, you know, I'm not okay with that. And then they're like, wait a second, but I've done this thing multiple times, and you never said anything until now. Well, why not? So it just never really benefits to hold back your personality, especially not right at the start when you're meeting somebody. So you're gonna have to learn to love your voice and learn that not everybody else is gonna love it. You have to love it yourself. That's called self-esteem.